Okay, so I think we are now live. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get started with the introduction. Hello to everybody who is watching this, whether you're watching live on Facebook or watching this later via the replay. Welcome to Africa Fashion Week London's Masterclass series. If you've been following for the past few weeks and the past few months, Africa Fashion Week London has been doing loads of really, really interesting things, seminars, masterclasses, panel discussions. And so for the month of June, we've been running a series of really interesting masterclasses on topics in fashion, in creativity and branding, and across all of these different areas. So today we have a very special masterclass featuring somebody who I can't wait to introduce you to. I think it's going to be a really fun and a really interesting presentation that he has for us today. So today's topic is taking care of yourself and your brand, which is being run by David Behrens. David is a mindfulness and meditation coach based in Marylebone, which is in central London. He specializes in bespoke one-to-one courses for mental and emotional health, stress management and resilience, as well as freedom from addictive behaviors. David brings a wealth of expertise from nearly 30 years as a teaching monk at an international retreat site and school of yoga in India, where in addition to years of personal meditation practice, he taught meditation retreats and studied Eastern and yogic philosophies, Ayurvedic medicine, and nutrition. He is also an advanced practitioner of homeopathy. David has created mindfulness and meditation programs for a number of areas, in particular, stress and anxiety management, better sleep, healthy relationships to food and nutrition, freedom from addictive behaviors, pain management, mindfulness, and meditation for daily life. David says that, quote, "To be healthy in life is a multi-level experience. It's mind, it's body, it's the emotional world, it's spirit, it's relationships, it's all those aspects. And we have to take care of all of those things," end quote. A strong mind helps the physical body to respond better to stresses and what life can throw at us. A less stressed body can better maintain positive health changes and let go of unhealthy patterns. David offers his services regularly for NHS recovery colleges in Gloucestershire, part of the treatment team for Charter Harley Street, which is London's prestigious private outpatient rehab, and he works with several psychologists and doctors in the London-Chelsea area. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to David to lead his masterclass once again on the topic of taking care of yourself and your brand. Welcome, David, to Africa Fashion Week London.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here, and it's always exciting to, in a sort of very special way, to meet all of you. I might not be able to see you, but in a sense I could sense or imagine you individually. We're connected in some way. And I'm very happy to be part of AFWL. So we're going to focus together, all together, on taking care of yourself. Or we can say taking care of oneself. And we're going to, in a very unique way, connect it to taking care of your brand. So as it was shared, I'll give you a little bit of my background. You can probably tell that I'm not from England. Maybe you can sense my accent is from actually the East Coast of the United States, and it was New York. And my story, I'll just give you a quickie. I got involved with meditation and mindfulness and spirituality and learning yoga when I was 18 years old. It actually was part of my college study. They had that in the college. It was known as Brooklyn College. It's a borough of New York City. And during that time, I was so interested that it was many years ago. If I was with you all, I would have you guess. But it was actually 1973, many, many moons ago. And there was all these different teachers coming, and I eventually met a great meditation master. And I felt that I was going to make that something I really wanted to study. And that led me into a journey. And that journey actually was like from 1973, and it went all the way till actually 2006. And during that time, I studied. I lived in India for over 20 years. I became a monk of an Eastern order. I was a monk for 27 years. Then I transitioned from being a monk. And that takes my story to the last 12 years. The last 12 years, I've actually been living in England and living there with my wife. And it was taking the Eastern spiritual teachings and that approach to the mind and Ayurvedic medicine, which I studied with a lot of great doctors in India while I was a monk. And it was applying that in a clinical therapeutic setting. And that's where I guess maybe I was invited to speak about taking care of yourself. That's always been a passion for me. Taking care of myself and also taking care of others. I've always played that role. So today I'd like to talk about what are some tips that we can all apply to taking care. Now, of course, if you're in the fashion world, that's not my world. I can just imagine what that is about. Somehow well, of course, most people think of fashion, they think of beauty. Thinking of fashion, I think of creativity. Thinking of fashion, I think of maybe because we watch films or TV depicting the fashion world, and I've had some clients who are models or working in that field. There's a lot of pressure. It's not just 9 to 5 necessarily. And there's a lot of pressure outwardly, and I would imagine there's a lot of pressure inwardly. And so how do we take care of ourselves when our life maybe has a lot of pressure and a lot of challenges? And we also have today's world where we're facing so much. So there's videos being taken, and historically at a time where the whole world is facing challenges. So I'm sure everyone who will watch this video is in this world now at this time, and we're facing so many questions on, the illness and disease that's, the virus that we're dealing with, and also the big questions about, race and seeing others in different ways and not really focusing on equality. So the whole world is questioning now. So let's kind of speak about how do we take care of ourselves in a world like this? And if we're in the fashion world, we add another level of stress, challenges. And of course, how does it relate to brand? When I think about brand, I would say that a brand is so much what I've learned about it. I'm not an expert, but I have a little sense of it. Brand is how we are seen very much by others, how we present ourselves to the world, from branding clothes. And our brand, we would hope, represents who we are. So there's a union between who we are, how we experience ourselves, and our wish on how others see us, see our brand. So if it's with clothes, or if it's with a particular product, or we are the product, what is our brand? And it's nice if there's unity between who we are, how we see ourselves, and how others see us. So today you're going to sort of get the vision of what I learned as a monk and what I learned being in the health field, especially the holistic health field. I work regularly in functional medicine, which is where you approach health on all aspects of a human being: the mind, the body, the senses, the spirit, and also one's life situation. So it's all of that. and you focus on how to create health and take care of oneself in that, so you don't leave anything out. And I feel, and maybe you would agree, that if we're taking care of ourselves and we feel good about ourselves and we have a healthy experience within, we exude the quality of health into our brand. And I'm sure many of us, we would love to have, just like whenever we look at a face, we kind of judge what we see, and sometimes we judge if they look healthy or they look unhealthy. And I'm sure many of us want to have in our brand health with everything else that we express that the brand represents. And we're also able to maintain that high quality of brand. So I'm going to offer you some practices. I thought that this would be very hands-on. So at the end of this session, you will actually have mindfulness and reflective practices that will help you to take care of yourself. And I've offered mindfulness and meditation to thousands and thousands of people over the years. Actually began in the early 70s and right up now, we're in 2020. And I've traveled around the world and I've been with all sorts of people. Sometimes you wonder, who learns meditation and mindfulness and how could it apply to healthcare? I would say it's a billionaire. It's a top director. It's a child. It's a simple farmer. It's a model. It's a teacher. It's a mother. It's basically everyone can benefit from learning these skills. So we're going to focus on the term mindfulness, the term meditation, and reflective practices that help in self-care that maybe we've learned and maybe we haven't. Today, you will learn them. And hopefully, as you're listening to this, you'll practice with me. So let's start off with a basic theme. And this is an important theme, I'd say, for life and for learning mindfulness. Mindfulness is basically the skill which is developed to take care of one's mind, which eventually is taking care of one's body, taking care of one's emotions, and eventually connecting to one's essence, the place of creativity, the place of love, the greater source that we all have. So we're going to focus on the theme, 3 ways to be best friends with yourself. I'm going to have you reflect on these questions. And if I was with you, I'd hear your answers. But instead, if you like, you can get a piece of paper out. I'll give you a moment. If you want to get yourself a pen, or if you don't have a pen or paper, you can just reflect inside. I'll offer you questions that you can also do at another time or offer to others who would like to watch this. So the first is taking care of yourself, becoming your own best friend. I would say the first thing that comes when we take care of ourselves holistically is our body. We all have physical bodies, but the question is, how often do we reflect on how well we take care of them? We push them, and sometimes we forget about them. So this is my reflective question you can ask yourself. What relationship do you have to your body? This maybe is a deep question, and it might push a few buttons, but we carry this body with us 24/7. Maybe it's time to become a good friend. So first question, do you relate to your body as your friend or your adversary? Which means sort of the one that you don't trust or sort of is against you. The answer to these questions is not good or bad. It's reflection. Reflection is a practice, and it's a way of understanding oneself deeper so one can make a greater self-growth and then do the greater decisions and directions in one life. So it's very valuable. So what is your relationship to your body? Do you see it maybe as an instrument or as your vehicle? Or when I learned in the Eastern practices as a monk, and maybe this is in many traditions, because I studied many traditions, that was my work, as a temple. That's an amazing thought, huh? That your body is a temple. It would be beautiful if we could have that. And let's try to become its friend. So based upon your answer that came to you with this question, how can you gain the ability to become a friend to your body? Because the body always is with us and we need it. So I'd like you to do a practice now. This is an affirmation practice. Affirmations are ways to use the mind in a way where we are able to, it's an ancient practice, now it's used in modern psychology, where you gain the ability to shape your thoughts. And that's a skill in mindfulness. The question is, not all of us shape our thoughts. Our thoughts shape us. So we're going to learn that skill today through affirmation. So I'd like you now, if you're comfortable, you can close your eyes in this practice. Or you can have them in a lower gaze, soft gaze. If our eyes are closed, we're going to now speak to our body and ask our body a question. It might be a funny way to approach it, but have fun with this practice. Dear body, you can ask silently. You can ask, dear body, help me to understand how to take care of you. Dear body, help me to understand how I can take care of you. See what is revealed when you ask that question. I'll wait in silence. Dear body, ask silently, help me to understand how to take care of you. Now you can open your eyes if they were closed and just write down a little something or reflect on your answer. 1 or 2 sentences if you like. This is a practice I've done with many, and it's an ancient practice and a modern practice that's done in clinics all around the world where they use affirmation. And psychologists and psychiatrists use it regularly, but we can use it for ourselves, affirmation. So let's go with the affirmation further. Once again, if you're sitting or wherever you are, if it's practical, you can inwardly focus on this question. Close your eyes. And instead of giving a question, we're going to speak to our body, and it's a beautiful statement. Dear friend, dear body, thank you for all your amazing abilities, for your beauty, for being there. And you can add your own, how you'd like to thank your body with a few words or sentence. And silently say, if you like, I will listen and take care of you. I will listen and take care of you. Just be with that 10 seconds of silence. Okay. I hope that was helpful. It's a beautiful practice to do, even each day, checking in. How is my body doing? And listening. When we don't listen, that's when our body eventually lets us know. And how does it let us know? Usually with pain. In fact, there's even a practice where if you have a particular pain in any part of the body or an ailment that just keeps coming again and again, sometimes you can close your eyes and speak to that within and ask for some guidance on how can you take care of it. We speak to the doctor. We speak to the psychiatrist. We speak to the psychotherapist. We speak to the trainer to get advice. How about speaking to ourselves to get advice? That is very empowering and powerful. Add that to a daily practice. So now we're going to spend some time taking care of our mind. Can we do that is the question. The answer is yes, 100%. Many of us might feel we can't take care of our mind. It just does its gig. Does everybody have a mind? And this is, I call, the personal mind that keeps talking. Now, this is kind of a funny way. We all have this puppet mind that's talking. And most of us are just lost in that talking. But in meditation and mindfulness, we learn the skill to be aware of our talking mind. And we gain the skill to take care of it. We can even gain the skill to have that talking mind become quiet for a time, or to soften. We can even work with that talking mind and shape it to have different thoughts. Even if we've gone through horrific, difficult, challenging times and our mind's all over the place. I also work in mental health, where I work with people who have actually been sectioned very unwell. I also work with people who are top in their field and they want to go to the next level in their ability to be with their mind, the powers of the mind. So I work in the whole spectrum. So wherever we are in that spectrum with our own talking personal mind, how do we take care of it? And what does it mean to have a strong mind? I've learned, which is very fascinating, as a monk, I learned it in a deep spiritual way, and the different traditions, East and West. When I transitioned, it was learning it through psychology, mental health. How do we take care of our mind through the eyes of brain functions? There's actually 4 brain functions of the mind. I'll just talk about them. And we take care of all of those in mindfulness and meditation. One of them is the brain function is, has your mind ever gone off? Going here, and you wonder why you just can't focus. Well, in meditation and mindfulness, you learn the skill to focus and guide the mind. That's a function in the front of the brain. Then there's a function to the side of the brain, which is our self-regulation of emotions. And in meditation and mindfulness, you learn how to regulate your ups and downs of emotions when we take care of our mind, because it includes our emotional world. And finally, we have also perspective. Have you ever been so involved in a thought that it takes over your mind and you can't stop it? And I work with people, it becomes so severe where it gets a label, like OCD, where it just repeats itself, or rumination. or we lose the power of our mind in like depression sometimes. So we can gain back the power to take a step back, be aware of our mind, shape it, emotional regulation, focus, and we also learn the skill eventually of turning off the busy mind to be quiet. When the mind gets quiet, it's also the time when creativity flows. If you think of the times when you got a great idea, usually like comes from within, or all of a sudden an inspiration flowed. It usually was a time when the mind kind of had a moment break. We might have heard stories of Einstein. He had it when he would sail. He'd sail on a beautiful, quiet lake. And then all these things would flow forward of amazing knowledge, which you didn't have before. So taking care of our mind, let's do a practice now. And this is a similar practice. I'd like you now to, if you're comfortable, close your eyes. And this is a fun practice because we have this talking mind, but maybe we never realize that, oh, I don't have to be controlled by it all the time. I can shape it. I can quiet it. So now, first we have to be a friend to it. So I'd like you to speak to your mind and just say, dear friend, dear mind, help me to understand how I can take care of you. Allow it to speak because it speaks all the time. Let it speak some wisdom to you. Help me to learn how to take care of you. You can ask it in silence. You can open your eyes and you can write down if a glimmer of wisdom came. Maybe an Einstein moment. Now I'd like you to do a practice similar to what we did before. It's the affirmation where we speak to our mind and we close our eyes and we affirm. Dear friend, dear mind, thank you for all your hard work, your support. You're constantly speaking to help me, to serve me in my work. Thank you, dear mind, for, you can form your own sentence. Thank you, dear mind, for. And you can end by saying, I will listen and take care of you. I will listen and take care of you. So now we focus on our heart. We did the body. We did the mind, and I kind of point to our head, but the mind is sort of everywhere in a sense. We took care of it. We became friends with it or began this relationship journey. Now we'll do the heart. So sometimes we sense its heart, touch our chest, heart, our emotional world. I'm sure all of us, everywhere, it's a big deal. Our world of emotions. And everybody has to learn how to take care of their hearts, their bodies, their minds, and their hearts. And in a sense, we've made it the mind, the busy talking mind, the figuring out mind, and now we have the aspect of ourself, of the emotional spectrum, all the different emotions. How do we take care of them? If we do not take care of them, as you know how emotions are, they let you know. You cannot push your emotions under the carpet or bury them in the ground because they are still there. We have to take care of them, become friends with them, integrate them. That's the essence of psychology, managing and integrating our emotional world and our mental world. Then we have health, strength, and a much greater life. So let's take care of our heart. We'll start again with a similar practice. Dear heart. We start off with, help me to learn how to take care of you. Dear heart, help me to learn how to take care of you. You're speaking to all the emotions because that's part of the heart. Whether you're getting angry sometimes, sad sometimes, happy sometimes, jealous sometimes, that is the emotional world. Help me to understand how to take care of you. And then just wait in silence to see what's revealed. Now we can open our eyes and we can write down. It's a powerful question if you do this, I guarantee it. Now we'll do the practice. And in this time we do the practice, we'll speak to our heart. And this is also a way of, we can call it healthy self-respect and self-love. I'm sure we want that in our expression of our brand, that we respect ourselves and that we love ourselves so that our brand will serve a great purpose in the world. Whatever our brand is, it expresses and somehow supports self-respect and self-love in a healthy way. So let's begin our practice. We can close our eyes. And to add to this practice, I'd like you to take your hand, it could be your right or left hand, and place it where you sense your heart is. And this is more your spectrum of your emotions as at the exact physical heart. It's more your heart. We all have a sense of our emotions there in that area, that big circle within our chest of our heart. Place your hand there and just feel the warmth of the hand. Many of us, we have a journey that our journey is to learn how to have self-respect, self-love. And then our life can truly take off and be the best. So with your hand on your heart, you can practice the affirmation. Dear heart, I will listen and take care of you. Dear heart, I will listen and take care of you. And with your hand there, if you have your hand on your heart, feel the warmth. Feel the quality of your respect you have for yourself, that you're willing to take the time to understand all the parts of your heart, to listen, to respect it, and somehow to love oneself. And your hand and the warmth represents that. I'll be silent now. Just enjoy this experience. We can open our eyes. If we'd like to write anything in a little bit of a journal for a minute, 30 seconds, that's fine. I hope these 3 practices have been supportive. We're going to go a little further now. We have another 10 minutes before question and answer. We focused on building a relationship with our body just by taking the time in a reflective way. That's part of mindfulness. We're working with our mind and ability to reflect. We're tuning inwards. We tuned into our own speaking personal mind, and we tuned into our emotional heart, which covers so much of ourselves, for the goal to respect ourselves, accept ourselves, love ourselves so that our brand can also express that. And then it serves a great purpose somehow in the world, in some creative way. Of course, our brand might have a different goal, but we can add this to the goal too if we like. I'd like to say that mindfulness and meditation as a practice also leads you to the place of creativity, which I'm sure is a great energy when it comes forth, especially in the fashion world. Creativity. It's so much, I sense, part of the fashion world. And maybe at the right time you can tell me more about it, if that's so. So where is creativity? And when you experience a surge of creativity, where does it come from? From where? Somewhere in the mind, somewhere in the heart, somewhere in this physical body. Does creativity come from the outside and jumps into the inside and then it comes forth? Or something clicks it and it rushes forward and we see something or figure out something while we're drawing. If in fashion, I have the sense that sometimes you're drawing or working on the computer or figuring out what it will look like, or whatever role you play in fashion. Creativity is respected as such a great quality when it happens. Where does it come from? I'd like to read you a quote when I was teaching this at retreats and working one-to-one with individuals on tapping into their power of creativity. And this is from the famous 19th century master dancer. Dancing is, I imagine, also creative, beautiful, and maybe is similar or matches the beauty of fashion. And this is from Martha Graham. She's known as the master dancer, the Picasso of dance, if you study the great masters of dance and choreographers. This is what she says. I'll read the quote slowly. There is vitality, a life force, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And because there's only one of you in all time, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium and be lost. The world will never have it. It is not your business to determine how good it is, nor how valuable it is, nor how it compares in other expressions. It is your business to keep it yours clearly and directly. To keep the channel open, you do not even have to believe in yourself or your work. You have to keep open and aware directly to the urges that motivate you. Keep the channel open. She ends with that. What does she mean? Keep the channel open. So when creativity has flown in you, or inspiration, or those wonderful moments, how do you keep that channel open? It's learning how to connect to the source of where that channel came from. In mindfulness and meditation, and I practiced this, and I found it helps everybody across the board, from the soldier to the billionaire, to the simple farmer, to the child, to the teacher, to the mother, to the father, to the monk especially. Connect to the source within, the channel within. In mindfulness and meditation, we learn to connect to the source of our life. And the source of our life will take us to the same place where love is, the same place where creativity is, the same place where courage is, the same place where inspiration is. Since ancient time, in all traditions, they've learned this skill. And all great leaders who have done great things for the world and society, transforming things, they were in touch with it. And they were developing or had developed the skill to connect to it. So we'll just spend a few minutes now with a simple mindfulness meditation practice on connecting to the source within of your life energy, which is the point where creativity, energy, love, inspiration flows. I'll offer you a simple 5-minute practice, and then we'll end for question and answer session. You can close your eyes if you like. It's a 5-minute meditation, which means you're guiding your mind within. Inwardly mindfulness. With eyes closed or soft gaze, be aware of your experience. Whatever you feel in your body, just be aware of it. Wherever your mind chooses to go, be aware of that. Maybe it goes to sounds or to thoughts, images, or it wants to tune into your body. The meditator is aware of the body sitting. You're a friend to your body. The meditator, which you are now if you're practicing, is aware of their mind and its movements. And the meditator has the ability to guide the mind. So I ask you now for the next 3 minutes to guide your mind to be aware of, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. If the mind wanders away in the next 3 minutes, build your power. This is a great skill. Guide it back. And be aware of, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. Now practice being aware of how when your breath goes in, your whole body expands and you feel some energy, even just you're alive. And when you breathe out, your body softens and you let go. Be aware of that for 3 cycles of breath. Breathing in and out with that understanding. For the final practice of just 1 minute, follow your breath with your mind's eye as you breathe in. It's a traditional practice. And feel how there's an energy in the body that brings the breath out. You follow your breath somehow with your mind's eye as you breathe out, which means you're aware. And there's an energy in the center within you that brings your breath in. Be with 3 cycles of breath with this reflection. Before you open your eyes or end the practice, reflect how it feels to have a healthy relationship and aware of your body, a healthy relationship and aware of your mind, and the ability to guide the mind to be aware of breathing in, breathing out, and eventually touching or feeling subtly the source of energy within, life energy. This is subtle. And even doing the practice mechanically has great benefit. And doing it with practice, you experience more can open your eyes now. So this was a simple practice I offered you, and know that this is what I've dedicated my life to learn, to practice, to refine, learning about how to take care of our body, our mind, our emotions, and learning how to connect to our greatness within. And we all can learn this because why not? By default, we carry this body around. We carry our mind around, our emotional world. But are we friends? Do we have that healthy relationship? And then this will give us more creativity, more inspiration, because we're connected. Then our brand takes on that special quality, and people see it or feel it. However, we are expressing who we are into our brand. So for the final 15 minutes or a few minutes of this, very happy to answer any questions. I'm available now, or anything you'd like to share. Go gently to the chat.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Fantastic. That was a very, very stimulating and intriguing session. Thank you so much, David, for leading that. I have a couple questions that I believe have come in from the Facebook that I would like to share with you, if that's okay.
Sure, please do.
The first question is, how does one stay present while building one's brand?
I would say it is practicing the skill of being present. So it's a daily practice. Example is building one's brand is a big term because building one's brand could be the actual work, depending on your work, where you're tapping into what is your brand and what should it represent and what should it express. So it's very important to have moments where you're also tapping into your own values, tapping into your own goals, and you're also having moments where you're just present, which means being in your body and senses. So it's a traditional practice. And it might be that before you begin your day, doing your actual work, so-called brand creating, you take a mindfulness moment where you tune into your breath and you get into that place where you feel sort of closer to your center, and then you begin. Or you get stuck somewhere and you don't have an answer, so you take a moment, you close your eyes and you ask within, help me, mind, to reveal to me an answer. So you start working with all the aspects of yourself in a focused, conscious way, being present with it. And then what happens is you touch your inspiration, you touch your creativity, and something that wasn't there before manifests even greater because you took the time to tune in. And I see the other question too. I'll let you ask it. I don't
Wait, sorry, my sound was off. Right, so it says, what mindfulness practice can one do to elevate one's goals?
I would say again, sometimes the mindfulness practice, other than just being with the breath the way we did it, or the affirmations where we're respecting and tuning into all the parts of ourselves. A beautiful practice is to tune into our heart, and we ask the question, I have this goal, maybe you've already formulated one. What is the experience I wish to have with this goal? Not whether, okay, I'll have a lot of money, fine. I'll be famous, fine. People will think of me in blah, blah, blah way. But what will be your inner experience by achieving that goal? If you answer that question, you'll realize that your goal goes up a notch. Because you might have a goal, but you left out the inner experience. So you achieve your goal, but you don't have satisfaction. So it's very important to tune into that.
Amazing. So that brings us nice and cleanly to the end of the session. Thank you so much once again for leading this incredible talk. I would just like to say quickly before we round off that Africa Fashion Week London, along with the Masterclass series, has online courses called Fashion Futures, which is in partnership with Henley's Business School in the UK, as well as Parsons Design Schools in New York. And we also have scholarships available. So if you're watching this, please head over to the website for more information regarding this. Thank you so much once again to David Barron for leading the session. Do you have anything that you would like to say in closing? Any contact details you would like to share? Any final information for us?
So I did put up my little photo and again, my name, David Behrens. You can see my website, and it's just a simple website that I've created. I'm on many websites, so when you put in my name, I do a lot of collaborative work. You might see it in other places, or you can go to this one, mindfulnessprograms.org. You can see the spelling and my email address, davidbehrens108@yahoo.com. And when you go to my website, you'll also have my cell number if you want to call me in that way and leave a message. And know that I'm available for questions. I'm just happy to share. And I'm also available in a personal way, in a way with my work. I work one-on-one with clients, and it's to reach their higher goals in leadership training, or it's to manage mental health challenges, or to manage addictive behaviors. I work with children, I work with adults, I work with mothers, and know that I have the whole spectrum to support your goals so that you can practice and become more empowered with these skills. And I work with all different people from all around the world. So thank you for this opportunity. I feel very happy that I had this, and hopefully I get to meet some of you in some way. Thank you.
And thank you so much once again for being here and for leading such a great session. Thank you also to everybody watching, to all the people at AFWL who organized this. And don't forget to check the schedule for the remaining masterclasses for the month of June on africafashionweeklondonuk.com. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.